Thank you everyone for joining us today. Thank you, Chris, for accepting the invite and to present us for the Singapore Microsoft BizApps user group. And yeah, I don't want to take much time. Just it's already 5 minutes late. Sorry, guys. So just enjoy your session.
Cool, sweet. I'm just going to share my screen. Can you just let me know if you can see it?
Yeah, you can.
Awesome. I've got roughly like 45 minutes, right?
Perfect.
Cool. Okay. Thank you very much for having me. What's up, everyone? So my name is Chris. I'm a partner technical architect at Microsoft, and basically what that means is I get to do cool stuff with technology and our partners, right? So it's pretty easy. I just want to say thanks to Jeev and the team for having me. It's really awesome to be here. Yeah, good crowd. Thanks for taking your time out to listen to us talk about BizApps. A lot of people think, BizApps, it's such a nerdy subject, but it's super fun, actually. And it's one of my favorite things to talk about, that Lego and beer. So yeah, today you have got one of the three, which is the BizApps side of things. And you know what, I was chatting to the team, we decided that something pretty cool to do would be to give an overview of the whole business application stack, which is pretty theoretically impossible to do in 45 minutes, but we're going to try. Okay. And there's a lot of things to think about here, right? So this slide deck is made by a dude called Vadim, and I've taken, well, some of the slides are, I've taken my own stuff and added them in, so please feel free to follow along. Also, if you want to chat to me in the comments, feel free to do that as well. So feel free to leave any comments, any questions. I'll happily respond. I can see the comments over here, and I've got the slide deck over here, so I don't think I'm doing other work. I'm actually just watching what you guys are saying. Also, you can follow me on Twitter if you really want to, and that's basically my Twitter handle in the chat. So if you want to leave any comments there or talk about stuff there, you're more than welcome to. Okay, so today's session, the Microsoft Dynamics ecosystem. Now, sure, this is going to be a big discussion, right? So when we talk about the ecosystem, I want to take a step back and just give you guys some information. So here at Microsoft, when we work with partners and customers and all these amazing folk, we realize that a lot of organizations do a lot of very similar things quite a lot of the time, right? So when you're talking about, when you're talking to customers, they'll always talk about things like accounts and orders and emails and meetings. And then, there are always things like storage and service requests, and we can pick pretty much any word from there. My favorite one is the planogram, right? I just like saying that. But, businesses do loads of different things that generate different processes and data, right? And it's kind of important to us because Microsoft are a data-driven organization first and foremost. So when we look at this type of slide, we realize that there's a lot of commonality. The other thing that we realized is that, oh, by the way, folks, when you join, please go on mute because you will probably get feedback from my mic. One of the things we worked out pretty quickly was that a lot of these organizations work with the tools that we use every day. So our products, the solutions that we built at Microsoft, snap into the things that you guys use every day. Okay, now that's pretty cool because if you think about where you're used to working in places like Teams and Outlook, et cetera, as business applications, we snap into those products. So look at what we're doing now. We're on a Teams call, right? We're using Outlook at the moment. You're using Word and Excel. Some of you might be on your mobile phone using Tinder. We don't plug into Tinder just yet. We might at one point. But I can promise you that all the tools you use every day from a business applications perspective, we plug into. From a Microsoft perspective, business applications plug into. So what we did is we said, well, we've got this like huge big mess of stuff that everyone needs. So if you take a look at this, all the stuff different organizations need, why don't we categorize it? So we did that. And we categorized it into Azure, okay, which is effectively the foundation for pretty much everything we do. We also categorized it into Office 365, which is effectively what we're using right now, or Microsoft 365 as it's now called. And then obviously the business application suite. Now, BizApps is a bit of a beast. And I'm not going to lie, this next slide is going to scare you. So if you're just getting into business applications for the first time, I'm sorry. If you know a lot of stuff about business applications, I'm still sorry. This is quite a complicated slide. So back in the day, we used to have like a few products, right? So we had Dynamics CRM, or actually it was just called Microsoft CRM. which had sales, service, and marketing. And then we acquired a couple of other products. So we acquired Nav, we acquired GP, and we acquired AX. All right. And effectively, these products made up, the business application suite. I'd like to say that that's grown substantially. And I'm going to talk about this in layers. So I kind of think that, by the way, everyone that's joined, please, folks, go on mute. It just makes the recording weird if we hear some strange voices in the outside. So the BizApps stack, what does it look like? What does the business applications Microsoft product stack look like? Well, first of all, I'm going to break this down into layers, right? So think of this as a sandwich. So the first layer is we've got our ERP solutions, enterprise resource planning. And that's broken down into finance, supply chain management, project operations, and business central. Now, some of these tools are remnants of previous products, and I'll break those down for you a little bit later. And we are going to drill into some of these in a bit more detail. The next layer we've got, which some of the people on the call might know. So if you're a Dynamics customer engagement person, we have a large array of CRM type solutions. And these solutions have been built up from effectively the ground up from a long time. And ultimately, these solutions come in various flavors. So we've got our typical sales SKUs, which are broken down into different product SKUs, sales apps, which are broken down into different SKUs. We've got our customer service apps. Then we've got field service and marketing. Okay. And that's typically kind of how the CRM solutions are broken down. Now, some of you on the call are going, oh, but where is project service automation? Well, that's now project operations, folks. That's part of what makes up project operations. Okay. I am a blue layer nerd, right? So I know lots about the blue layer. I know very little about the red layer. So if you ask me ERP questions, I'm probably going to answer them very vaguely. Okay. The next thing we've got is our modular solutions. Now, this is where it starts getting interesting because modular solutions are broken up into other smaller pieces. So we've got commerce, which is new. We've got HR, right? We've got different mobile applications. We've got omni-channel for customer service. We've got a gamification engine. We've got the Outlook app, the Dynamics 365 Outlook app. We've got a LinkedIn connector. So all of these modular solutions, most of them will plug into the previous layer. So most of them will plug into elements of the CRM solutions, except for commerce and HR, which can run on its own. All right. We then have our AI solutions. Now, I am going to tell you something fun about AI, and when I get to this, it's quite an interesting story. But AI has been a big bet for us at Microsoft for some time. So AI comes with a lot of data, and we've been very good at collecting data for some time now. So we'll talk about that a little later. But with AI, we've managed to snap AI into pretty much most of our applications. So when you think about sales, when you're taking a look at like predictive lead scoring and opportunity management and that type of thing, the Dynamics 365 Sales Insights is a really great way to start getting that detail. Customer Service Insights, we've got D365 Customer Insights. Customer Service Insights plugs into D365 Customer Service. Customer Insights is a separate product that can run on its own and is effectively a centralized customer data management solution, or CDM. All right. Now, there's a couple of other things that you're going to start thinking about. We've got virtual agents. Okay. Now you're thinking, wait, hang on, isn't that Power Platform? It is, right? So we've got the virtual agent tool, which is also surfaced and starts leveraging a lot of the AI functionality as well. If I go to the fifth layer, we've got mixed reality solutions. Wow. I bet you guys didn't know that there's something like 24 Dynamics 365 products in the business application stack. Hey, I think it's more now, but it should be 24, right? But that's interesting because a lot of us thought it was sales, service, marketing, field service, and project operation. Oh, sorry, sales, service, marketing, field service, and project operations. It's a whole lot more than that. A whole lot more, right? So now when you start looking at the mixed reality solutions, you've got things like remote assist, super cool functionality. You've got the product visualize. You've got guides, which plugs into field services. The import tool that imports these 3D packages, I've never touched it, but I'm super keen to learn a bit more about what it does. And then you've got different services. So you've actually got an inventory service. I bet you didn't know that. We've also got a planning service. I didn't know that, right? And then we've got some other configurable business documentation functionality, which allows us to leverage tools like Word and Excel, okay? And then finally, The other two core layers, which a lot of you are very familiar with, we have got our Power Platform layer with Power Automate, Power BI, Power Apps, Power Virtual Agents, and AI Builder. And then finally, the Azure layer. That's pretty crazy, right? So that's our business application stack built on top of the Power Platform layer, which is the Power Platform layer and the Azure layer. Okay. So you should be sufficiently freaked out by now because that's a lot of stuff. Now, here's the thing. I don't think anyone on this call is an expert in all of this. If you're an expert in all of this, please tell me now. Because, yeah, you're a ninja. But some of us will focus on different areas. So my theory is I know nothing about the ERP solutions. I know the fundamentals, and that's all I need to know. I know some of the fundamentals about the mixed reality solutions. I love the Power Platform layer. That's the layer that I like working in. I also love the CRM layer. But I'm not expected to know everything. And that's why we have lots of people in this community, like your good selves, that work on understanding various areas of these solutions. So folks, if you want to feel pressure to learn all of them, do it. But I think it's going to be very, very difficult to be like level 3, 400 on all of this. Okay. So let's work our way downwards. Oof, now this is where it's going to get tough. Okay. So let's break this down. We've got our CRM solutions. Now, notice I skipped the ERP slightly. Don't worry, that's coming purely because I wanted to start with CRM because most of the people that I think are on this call are probably going to be CRM focused. When you look at the way the solutions are broken up, okay, the two of our most popular solutions are our sales applications and our customer service apps. Those are broken down into effectively your enterprise and your pro licensing, okay? So you've got your D365 for sales or D365 sales, which is pitched at the enterprise market. Then you've got D365 Sales Professional, and it's very similar with customer service. So those two enterprise applications, you're going to get a lot more bang for your buck. You're going to get a lot more functionality, okay? If you're going to go for the smaller, more sliced down version of sales or customer service, it's really good for SMB and, you know, those types of organizations or SMC, which it's pretty interesting. And yeah, I can see there's a question in the chat. Which apps among these amazing set Microsoft internally use and any key takeaways from Microsoft internal use? So we use all of these internally, every single one. Microsoft's a massive organization that's got hundreds of different departments. The department that I'm in uses the CRM layer extensively. I don't know enough about the different departments to give you information about the key takeaways, unfortunately. What I can say is that if you've ever done any implementation with any customers, the key takeaway is keep it simple. Okay, don't overcomplicate it and don't boil the ocean. But it's a good question, but I'm sorry, it's just massive. It'll take me hours to answer that. But yeah, I'll try and bake that type of information in as I go. So when you start looking at the rest of the CRM stack, okay, so the sales licensing is really good. The sales SKU is really good for like opportunity management, quotations, orders, invoices, products, all that type of thing. And I really think it's a great way to get any sales focused organization going. One of the things I loved using in sales is the pipeline management tool. So I would do sales opportunities and lead management, and then also do quite a fair of cross collaboration between you know, what was going on in sales with my marketing tool. You also get some very basic marketing functionality within the sales SKU. So you get marketing lists and you get basic campaigns. It's nothing like what's available in the marketing app. Okay. The other one that's interesting is relationship sales, which is a really epic way to integrate with LinkedIn. So you get Sales Navigator integration. You get some really great visualization tools that allow you to understand what's going on from a relationship perspective. The customer service piece is amazing. Customer service is also one of the most widely used applications in things like contact centers and doing complaint management and things. I found that with customer service, you know, it typically revolves around the case entity, which is quite cool, right? So when you're leveraging, you know, customer service, you're going to be doing a lot of work around case, but it's also around the business process flow functionality and managing BPF, business process flow. So it's really about, you know, promoting that sort of core complaint with the core sort of customer service functionality within your org. What a lot of people do is they transmogrify that customer service functionality into other areas and typically bend that into field service. So the example I'll give you is that when somebody starts talking about customer service, it's normally about the what and the where. So what's gone wrong and where has it gone wrong, okay? And they may be able to resolve that on the call, like through knowledge articles and things. The field service is the who and the when. So who is going to resolve it and when are they going to resolve it? So typically those two types of pieces of functionality get munged together beautifully. Okay. Now, field service offers a whole plethora of stuff. Like when you start looking at things like getting the right people out to the job at the right time, how do you manage that? And how do you manage those interactions? Field service is a hugely popular product within the business application stack. Like I said, it works beautifully with customer service. And those two products basically contain the universal resource scheduling functionality that enable you to actually schedule any entity or any resource within your organization. The other cool part about field service, and personally it's my favorite application because it's got the best and the coolest of all the dynamic stack, right? So you've got things like connected field service where you can start connecting up to IoT sensors. So if I really wanted to, I could stick an IoT sensor on my fridge or my boiler and actually start bringing in different pieces of information and managing the different people actually going out to resolve those issues. So we call that proactive, right? Reactive field service is when somebody has to phone in and actually get somebody sent out. What this also does is it actually merges quite nicely with some of the ERP functionality, which we'll talk about later on. Like I said, I'm very good in, well, not very good, let's put it this way. I prefer working within the CRM solutions. I'm not very good in the ERP solutions. The last one I want to talk about is marketing. Marketing is an interesting product because we did have some very basic marketing functionality within the sales license, but we found that for lack of a better word, lack of a better term, it just didn't cut the mustard. So what we had to do is we had to democratize marketing and move it out into its own application because marketing is very complicated. The other thing that's also very important is that with marketing, it's data driven and very data focused. And we realized that a lot of the marketing data was never always going to come from the common data service. And we'll talk about that later. It was going to come from other solutions. Marketing is, like I said, data driven. In order to do segmentation based on, or proper segmentation based on information within an organization, you need to understand where all the different siloed systems are and how to interact with them. Okay, so marketing needed to be separate. Marketing actually uses its own elements of customer insights in the background to generate segmentation, which is super, super cool, right? Also, we needed to have proper journey management. When you look at the marketing and the sales SKU, it doesn't have that functionality. So proper customer journey management is managed directly through the marketing application. Also, events management, which can get quite detailed, needed to be in there as well. So there's full events management within the marketing app. Another thing I want to bring up, which is pretty important, is that in marketing, you get two types of things. You get marketing automation and you get marketing resource management. Marketing resource management is very much around the planning of marketing, and marketing automation is around the delivery of marketing related information. This is very much focused on a lot of the marketing automation tools. They are still building in marketing resource management, so a lot of the planning functionality into this. If you're looking for a planning tool, there are ISVs like Simple that build that type of stuff, right? So I'll definitely go and have a look. Right, ERP. Like I said, I'm not going to get into this. If you're an ERP person, if you ask me anything, all you're going to do is embarrass me because I don't know lots about it. But I can tell you now that when we started looking at things like from things like when we acquired GP, AX, and NAV, NAV effectively became Business Central, which is for your SMB/SMC organizations. And it's got a lot of functionality which really allows you to build your business off the ground, right? So if you're looking for basic financials, basic CRM, basic human resource management, you've got it in there. When I say basic, I'm using this term quite lightly because I can promise you now I've seen some people do some very complex stuff in Business Central. Don't by any means think it's the little brother, because it's not, a little sister. It really is not. It does some amazing things. What I would say though is if you're looking for, complex financials, it's probably not the right place, just depending on your organization. Then you start needing to move up into what we call the AX layer, or the unified operations layer, now known as D365 Finance and D365 Supply Chain Management. You've also got project operations living along the side, which I'll get into shortly. But ultimately, with D365 Finance, they democratized the finance layer directly out of unified operations and actually gave you a lot more control over the finance components, which is super cool. I'm not going to pretend to know much about this because I genuinely do not care about numbers. I'm all about relationship management and that type of thing. So if you want to talk numbers, promise you there are probably some people on this call, but it's definitely not me. The supply chain management functionality is super cool, right? So there's a lot of really great stuff in there that allows you to run a supply chain organization really, really carefully. But there's a lot of things in there as well, which are going to start really exploding. And also, I would say, like, when you start looking at things such as the asset management functionality in there, really, really great opportunity to start building that out into a much bigger product. And then the project operations suite, again, not one of my strong points, but what I believe happened was they democratized elements of project accounting out of unified operations, and they also democratized elements out of project service automation, and basically made the project operations tool, which is really cool. Oh, and project for web, which apparently comes into the stack. So guy called Ankit is the guy you want to talk to about this. He's an MVP, absolute rock star. I know he's been doing some stuff on this as well. The next layer in the burger, effectively, is your modular solutions. I'm not going to get into all of these, I'm sorry, just purely because of time. But one of the ones I want to bring up is D365 Omnichannel for Customer Service. This is awesome. So what it does is it kind of consolidates, thank you very much for the compliments in the comments, by the way. So it consolidates a lot of the information directly from your channel management tools. So the example I'm going to give you is that typically when dealing in D365, like I've implemented multi-channel / omni-channel solutions, one of the things that I really struggled with was what we call channel consolidation. Okay, so the example I'm going to give you is that hopefully all of you live in a house, or if you don't live in a house, you might live in a boat, which is weird, but you still have to insure your house or your boat, right? Now what will happen is that when you call in the insurer, don't you hate it when you go into web chats and then they say, oh no, you have to phone in. You phone in and they're like, oh, can you please repeat your whole case? And you're like, oh, dude, you're driving me nuts. And then you repeat your whole case and then you send them an email and you have to like re-quote everything. So what this does is this sort of munges the channels together. So it gives you this really great mechanism to understand multiple channels against a single customer view, right? Which is awesome. So I believe that Omnichannel for Customer Service is probably going to be one of the more largely sought after products, and I'm probably going to hedge a lot of my bets on this, actually. I really love it. I really think it's absolutely fantastic. And if I was you, I'd start doing a bit of research there. There are some things called, there is a thing called the Channel Integration Framework, which allows external ISVs to plug their different channels in. So as an example, there's an ISV called Solgari, and they do what you call a web RTC, and they've got all sorts of other channels that they leverage. They've built a tool that integrates with the Omnichannel Engagement Hub, right? Or Omnichannel for Customer Service. It's very, very cool. A couple of other ones I want to point out here, right? So you've got D365 for Commerce. It's new, but it's focused very much around retail, okay? Now, if you're dealing with things like, Cloud POS or point of sale, for those of you that don't know the acronym, things like, I don't know, pricing management and, sales channel management. That's the tool that you want to use. It's very directed at retail. Also, we have Dynamics 365 Human Resources. I'm not going to talk about the old product, right? I didn't touch it and I didn't want to, but this is effectively sort of a newer version of what we had. And they've kind of brought a lot of the sort of functionality together, which is really exciting. I'm really keen to get my hands on this because I think that this is going to be quite relevant when doing things like field service and project for operations, because you're going to need to manage internal users' skills. Now that's going to be epic because you can see there's a little learning piece there. And if you look at the very bottom of the list, you've got skills. So that's one of the things that I'm super keen on, right? I've got to fly through the rest. The AI solutions. My favorite one out of the list right now is fraud protection. I haven't touched it yet, but I've seen demos. We need this stuff, right? Now, it's kind of weird when I saw the demo, the guy was like, hey, does your organization have a lot of fraud? Check this out. I'm like, you don't necessarily know if your organization's got a lot of fraud, but it is something that's really important, right? So I would say, focusing on things like loss prevention within this tool are very, very key. And I'd like to say you're probably just going to be able to plug it in and get it to work, but it probably isn't going to be that simple. The other one that I'm really interested in is the customer insights, right? The customer insights functionality really brings data together. And the thing I like about it is that when we start talking about customer data platform, a lot of the time we don't actually have a proper 360-degree view of our customer record. And it's often quite difficult to drag information into the common data service. The reason is because the common data service, when made data heavy, can be quite interesting to deal with. And also it's quite expensive from a data storage perspective and an API utilization perspective. So customer data platform is a great way to generate those core customer insights and then feed pieces of information back into the common data service. So I'm really interested to see how that pans out. There are some other really awesome things that are coming with this, right? I can't release too much. I'm NDA'd through the roof. But what I can tell you is that in the future, you're going to see customer insights as one of the most forefront products that we're selling and leveraging right now. Obviously, we've got the other AI tools that plug in. Now, one thing I want to talk about very quickly is that everything we're doing at Microsoft is going to be AI focused. We've spent a number of years telling people to generate data and not what to do with it. Now we're telling people about what to do with it, okay? And I think what's quite key is that, you know, it's all very well organizations having all this information, but if they don't have any analytics on top of it, it's kind of pointless. Right. Second little bit of this, well, second to last, I think, is the mixed reality solutions. Most of these are typically plugged into the field services functionality, right? So when you start looking at things like your D365 guides, et cetera, this is where you're starting to really bring tools like field service to life in the field, right? One of the things we found, and I'm gonna say something quite scary, but here's the thing. Think about manufacturing. So imagine you walk into this factory and you see these crazy big machines. A lot of them are like 90 years old, 80 years old, 70 years old. Do you guys think the people that installed those machines are still alive? And if they are still alive, are able to even go and fix them? No, they're not, okay? In South Africa, I worked at a company that did automation. So I worked on things called programmable logics controllers. And I was pretty sick because when I did that, you know, I got to use all these like a massive CPU cards and analog inputs and outputs. And I'm lucky I understand it, but not everyone does, right? Now, when you're looking at people coming in from the field, coming in from college and university and starting to work within places like these manufacturing orgs or these complex engineering organizations, they don't know this stuff. Also, the tech that the actual machines that these people are using is not deemed out of date, but there's no way for people to learn from these older folks that built it. So using tools like D365 guides, HoloLens, Product Visualize, giving people the ability to understand how these machines are put together, it's really important that these folks these younger folks actually start learning about this. So you're actually filling a gap in the brain drain, which is quite a big problem, okay? So remember, these remote assist type tools are going to be deemed massively important, even more so in the future as organizations like engineering orgs, oil and gas, manufacturing all grow, all right? And then I'm not going to get into this too much, but we do have a services layer. I've never really delved into this, right? You know, there are probably some people on the call that know a bit more about this than I do, but apparently we have a planning service, we have inventory on hand service, which I've actually heard about. I'm pretty keen to understand that. Then obviously we already know about the external microservices within the Word and Excel documentation, which is pretty cool. Now, a couple of things I want to bring up is I've flown through that, right? So that is basically the entire stack, sort of, in a few minutes. I want to talk about Dynamics 365 with Power Platform. Now, I think the way to do this is give you guys a little bit of an intro into a business scenario. So many moons ago, when I was working at a partner, I was able to. They actually came to me and they said, "Hey, Chris, you know, can you explain to us how this all fits together?" And I'm like, "Yeah, sure, no worries. Dynamics 365 customer engagement apps, you know, sales, marketing, service, and field service." And they're like, yeah, we know those. I'm like, awesome. You know that they're just Power Apps? Sorry, what? Are you saying marketing, sales, service, and field service are Power Apps? Well, that's absolutely what I'm saying. So did you know, folks, that all of this stuff is built on a thing called the Common Data Service? Now, at Microsoft, we made a little bit of a foobar. I'm not going to tell you what that means. You can Google that. And we decided to rename it to something else. But now we've gone back to the Common Data Service, or CDS, which is fine. Now, when you start thinking about the way this all fits together, the CDS is the layer that kind of what I call it the Lego platform, right? So if you think about it like this, I'm going to transmogrify this into a Lego discussion. Check this out. I've got a sweet blue spaceship, right? Can you guys see that? That's a Lego spaceship. I'm going to start removing bricks from my Lego spaceship, okay? See the common data service or the Power Platform effectively as Lego. And each one of these little things like Canvas apps and model apps as bricks that fit as part of this Lego platform. So when we say the Power Platform, Dynamics 365, elements of it are part of the Power Platform, okay? They're built on the same bricks. So when you guys start thinking about model-driven apps and Canvas apps and Power BI and Power Automate flows and all that jazz, Dynamics 365 customer engagement first-party applications are built on the same logic. Okay, now that's pretty cool. So congratulations, if you're a Dynamics 365 customer engagement expert, congratulations, you are a common data service and Power Platform expert. Well done. Okay, put that on your CV, ask your boss for a raise. A couple other things that are pretty important is that it doesn't end there. By the way, I can hear banging on somebody's mic, so please go on mute because it is going to mess with the recording slightly. A couple other things. A lot of the solutions that we talked about in that stack, like the ERP solutions, are not yet completely munged into the common data service, right? So they're not completely absorbed into it. There are some that are, okay, but when you're looking at things like the unified operations layer, which is effectively finance and supply chain management, that still lives on its own platform. We have a thing called dual write, which allows us to talk to the common data service. And then if you think about the sandwich layer, Office 365, now Microsoft 365 is the top part of the sandwich, and Azure Services is the bottom part of the sandwich. So it's very key to know that everything is built on top of Azure, but supported within Microsoft 365, okay? So when you're leveraging any of this functionality, they all work together in harmony. So let's take a real life scenario. When I was at Partner many moons ago, I did a deal at a local authority, which is like a local council or a local government, whatever you call it in your country. In South Africa, we don't have that. I can't remember what we call it actually. It's more like council or municipality is the word I'm looking for. So what they did was they said, hey, Chris, you know what? We've got these problems. Like we don't know how to fix potholes in our area. We don't know how to fix antisocial behavior, and we're having trouble with health inspections. So I said to them, cool, no worries. Why don't we just put that into the common data service? We can take your data and just create some custom entities and put it in there. All in the back of my mind, I'm thinking about licensing right now. Okay. So I'm like, okay, we'll create an entity for potholes, an entity for antisocial behavior, and an entity for health inspections. Then what I'll do is I'll build some Canvas apps. Now, here's the thing. Right now, I'm paying £7.50 per user per month for them to use this. Okay. The next thing is that we decided to plug some Power Automate along the side of it. So we built some flows, and the flows allowed us to kind of, send out, notifications and all sorts of other things. And then we had some reporting in Power BI. Still, my friend, £7.50 per user per month. Okay, flows were running within the context of the app, right? The next thing we did was we said, well, obviously, because this is within Office, our internal people can log in, but we need a way to really manage the way that this data is progressed through a life cycle to the end. So we built a model-driven app. Still £7.50 per user per month, folks. Now, I'm not going to do any conversions. If you want to do it to dollars, it's $10 per user per month. And then we also plugged in portals for external people to capture information. Yes, we had to pay a fee for portals. Yes, I know it's expensive. No, we probably aren't going to change the pricing. Okay. And then finally, we started to use Azure Services to integrate information from other systems into our common data service. By this time, our solution was getting pretty big. By the way, other than paying for the portals pricing and the Azure Services pricing, still £7.50 per month, folks. Okay, $10 per user per month. When it started to get interesting was when we actually migrated our solution into a Dynamics 365 environment. So our solution and our data into a Dynamics 365 environment. And effectively, we said, okay, well, the customer service team, which are paying $95 per user per month, have the ability to capture their information, but utilize our data structure, which is pretty awesome, right? So now we were paying for that sliver of Dynamics users, but our Power Platform users that weren't using Dynamics, they didn't need to pay that for the Dynamics license. So when you're looking at architectural discussions with an organization around Dynamics and the Power Platform, guess what? You've got to know licensing, okay? I'm also going to tell you something very key. RTFM, read the freaking manual, right? So if you read the manual, it'll give you information about how this stuff fits together. The other thing that's pretty cool as well is that when you're looking at this from an architectural perspective, there's no need to bypass things now. So when you're looking at things like multiplexing and all that crazy stuff, don't worry, forget about that. Just think about the solution and what's best for your customer. My rule in licensing is that if you see the cookie on the table and you feel bad about taking the cookie, you're probably doing the wrong thing. That's the same with building out solutions and licensing. So the part I want to talk to you a bit more about is the Power Platform piece. So I've given you a real life scenario about this bottom layer over here being the Power Platform and this top layer over here being Dynamics. I want to break this down into a couple of things for you real quick. So when looking at the Power Platform, there's a lot of really good stuff under the hood. Lots of really good stuff under the hood. And, we've been democratizing functionality directly out of a number of sources to get to this. So you can see if you have a look, we've got loads of things under Power Automate, loads of things under Power BI, loads of things under Power Apps, and loads of things under Power Virtual Agents. The tricky one here is AI Builder, and I'm going to get onto that real quick. So I'm going to show you a slide that everyone knows, okay? This slide defines the Lego bricks that Dynamics is built on. Remember my sweet blue Lego spaceship that I showed you guys earlier? This slide defines the bricks that Dynamics is built on, okay? So see these as digital bricks, right? Now, what we did was many moons ago, when I spoke to you about those three core areas in the beginning, being Azure, Business Applications, and Microsoft 365, the Power Platform gods looked upon these and said, well, we need you all to sacrifice something to us to make sure that we can build out a platform that unifies the three together, right? Now, here's the thing. When we looked at Modern Workplace actually gave us Power BI and Canvas apps, okay? So Power BI used to be entrenched in Excel. Canvas apps used to be entrenched in SharePoint. When we looked to Azure gave us Power Automate and Power Virtual Agents, all right? And AI Builder, effectively, where the Power Virtual Agents is a layer on the top of the bot framework. Power Automate, most of it, more in particular flows, is effectively a pretty logic app, right? And then when you look to the business application stack, we got the Common Data Service and model-driven applications. So this is all kind of a consolidation from all of those three areas. Dynamics 365 is built on this exact technology, okay? If you had enough time, money, and patience, you could rebuild the sales app. It would be naughty, but you could do it, okay? Now, when you're looking at these four core areas, everyone's like, oh, the Power Platform is four little bubbles, and we got some data underneath. So I'm gonna tell you something real quick. Did you know that around you right now, you've probably encountered the Power Platform? So I can guarantee you, if you've been to Heathrow Airport, or if you've seen any or interacted with any of these customers at any point in time, you've probably encountered the Power Platform. In fact, even Disneyland used the Power Platform, believe it or not, which is pretty cool. So remember, Dynamics 365 customer engagement is built on top of the Power Platform. When I take one look kind of deeper, the whole goal behind the Power Platform is to maximize time to value, okay? So let's take a look real quick. A lot of people will laugh at this because, and I know Amy and Eric and Jiva are looking at this going, oh man, you brought up the digital feedback loop. Yes, I did, okay? So Microsoft have got this thing called the digital feedback loop. And you guys are going, what the hell is he talking about? Okay, forget about the digital feedback loop. What's most important is you look at this little this little funnel. Microsoft is a data-first organization, okay? We focus on data. Without data, we are nothing. Data is gold, right? There's a reason that every slide you saw at any Microsoft event in the last 5 years, they were telling you big data. There's always somebody standing on stage in a really pretty dress or a nice suit going, yeah, big data is awesome. But the key thing is that we've amassed all this data. The next thing that's really key is Azure. Trees with deep roots don't blow over, right? Azure is our foundation. If you build a skyscraper on the foundation for a house, it's going to fall down. Okay, Azure goes deep, and it goes very deep. In fact, it's one of the most insanely detailed platforms I've ever seen in my life. Okay, Azure holds everything. The Power Platform is built on top of Azure. Dynamics 365 customer engagement is built on the Power Platform. So Dynamics 365 field service is a Power App. But like I said, it's got some amazing things in it that you really, really don't want to rebuild. You know, you're not going to rebuild the scheduling board, not a sausage. It'll take you hours. I mean, Amy would be one of the first people I'd ask about that. The next thing that's really key to us is connectors. Now remember, Connectors form one of the lifeblood areas of our solution. A lot of people think that Power Apps is the Power Platform. Power Apps is about 5% of the Power Platform, folks. Okay, connectors are what really makes this. So think about this. Before, you all are potentially Dynamics people. You would walk into a customer scenario and your customer would be like, oh, we use Salesforce. And you'd be like, no. Now I go, cool, bring your Salesforce. Salesforce is awesome. We'll just connect to it and build next to it, right? So I can take my sweet blue Lego spaceship and I can build a nice big fairy princess castle next to it. Still the same platform, doesn't make a difference to me. I just want their data. The more data I get, the more cool stuff I can do, right? When you start looking at the common data service, oh my, I will tell you now, there are going to be some people that laugh at this on this call. The amount of data discussions and fights I get into on Twitter about this is hilarious. So the common data service is effectively democratized out of Dynamics customer engagement. So what we did was we were like, hey, there's a really, really awesome data platform underneath Dynamics that we can use and just give to everyone and democratize it without having an app on top of it. This is epic. So why don't we just do that? And so we did. Now, here's the thing. In the common data service, I'm not going to go into a huge tirade of why this is better or not better than SharePoint/SQL, but there's one thing I want to bring up here real quick. When you look at this, one of the core areas of the Power Platform within the common data service is security. I bet you didn't know that there are actually nearly, I think it's 7 layers of security, all the way from Azure Active Directory authentication down all the way down to field level data masking and obfuscation. So let's put it like this. You want to do that manually in SQL, you can, it will take you some time. And if you're really smart and have the inclination to do it, sure. Or you can just use what's out the box within the common data service. Let's take lists, SharePoint lists. Same sort of process, right? You probably could do it with a bunch of ISV products, or you could do this out the box with the CDS. A couple of other things that are really important here. When we're talking about data storage, everyone thinks that it's just a SQL database underneath the common data service. Not a chance, my friends. SQL elastic pools are just part of it, okay? We have Cosmos DB, right? We have Azure Blob. We actually integrate to Azure Search and Find. We're also starting to integrate, well, mostly directly into Azure Data Lake. So when you're looking at transactional information, you can see where this is going. We're just a layer on top of all of those awesome data sources. Again, you want to build that manually in SQL, go right ahead, or just pay the $10 per user per month to use this. Okay. So again, great data platform. We've also released Project Oakdale. Usually, we did call it DataFlex. Not going there at all, but effectively that is in this parts of this ingrained and embedded directly within Microsoft Teams. This is my favorite one, the AI Builder piece, which is really, really important. I told you before, we're ingraining AI into everything. So those of you that are on Tinder right now, awesome, you're using AI, congratulations, okay? It's on your phone, it's everywhere, it's in the air. One thing I want to make very clear about AI is that a lot of you have seen all those crazy movies like Terminator and The Matrix, and you expect robots to run around and start shooting things, and Arnold Schwarzenegger to bust through the door and take out the robots, and then Neo from The Matrix to swoop in. That's not AI, folks. The problem that we have is stuff like that has made people scared of AI. Now I'm going to give you a correlation here real quick. I'm pretty sure some of you in the world here have watched a horror movie before. And you know that scene when they walk through the house and they open the door and it goes and it slams closed behind them. And everyone gets terrified. Well, take a look at my little camera below, right? Watch this. If I open my door and close it, that didn't scare you. You know why it didn't scare you? It's because you know what's doing it, right? Those horror movies scare you because you don't know what's doing it. And that's artificial intelligence to the max right there. People don't get it because they don't understand what's under the hood. They think that you have to be a developer or like some sort of ninja to use AI. But what they don't know is you're using it every day. And that's like the Power Platform. We democratized it out of Azure and we gave it a nice skin and a pretty name and a pretty layer, and we put it directly within the Power Platform. So it didn't scare people and more people started using it. So now I can build AI apps anytime I want. You know when you generate a Canvas app from data, okay, it uses artificial intelligence to do that. It's there, it's everywhere. It's ingrained in our products. The design ideas within PowerPoint, that's AI. It's everywhere. So I'm not going to go into too much detail about the app layer, but one of the other things I wanted to bring up, whoops, this just bounced from that real quick. one of the things I wanted to bring up is one of the core things we keep on talking about is data. Now, I'm not going to claim to be an integration ninja. What I am going to claim to do, though, is tell you that the first rule of data integration is don't integrate. So when we're looking at different solutions, right, and I keep on talking to you about connectors and things, one of the things we need within the Microsoft platform is data. Data is like petrol to us, or diesel. It's what makes us run. But how do we get it? Well, we've actually got a bunch of pre-built tools within the Power Platform that help you get data, okay? Now remember, if Dynamics is built on the same tools as the Power Platform, I'm referring to Dynamics 365 Customer Engagement as well. Now, when we start looking at data, one of the key things is that we need to find ways to get information. A lot of people say, oh, I'll just use Flow. I'm probably going to say something that's going to upset some of my MVP friends on the call right now, but Flow is not an integration tool, right? Flow is an interfacing tool. If you're doing high levels of data transformation in Flow, you're probably doing the wrong thing, all right? So let's take a look at what we got here. Well, from a data integration perspective, now I want to start bringing data in from different sources. The first rule of data integration is don't integrate. So I can integrate using my UI. I can build a Canvas app embedded in a model-driven app and reference that data that's sitting in another source, right? I can use things like virtual entities. I don't need to physically move data into the common data service to get access to it. Not all data in the common data service exists in the common data service. Oh, mind blown. What? Yeah, it's true, right? I can reference data from multiple sources. If I really want to get access to data and I really want to physically move data around, I can do that using other tools, right? But remember, think about the concept of data transformation versus data integration. Integration requires transformation. Interfacing doesn't. Okay, and that's just a point I want to make. Whoops, I just lost my mouse pointer. Another thing that's really important is that when we start looking at data integration in the Power Platform and Dynamics, we've provided you all with a load of tools that you can use to start understanding and leveraging data. So a couple of things, right, is when you're looking at a thing called a functional integration, using tools like Bing Maps, okay? Power BI is a really great way to get information from third-party systems and expose it within the Power Platform UI. Canvas apps, another great way of doing it. Even things like Unified Service Desk or the Omnichannel Engagement Hub, really great ways of starting to understand and doing what we call data mashups, okay? Now, one of the last things I want to bring up, right? Whoops, I think I've just lost the slide. Sorry. Okay, I did lose a slide. My bad. Let me just go really all the way back up to the top. Sorry, folks. I thought I moved the slide back down, but I didn't. My bad. There we are. I need that one. One of the last things that I want to bring up around the whole platform set is that when you're starting to look at how all this stuff fits together, you need to decide how to plug those Lego bricks together. Okay, it's not up to your customer. I promise you now. If your customer makes that decision, awesome, they might be trained and all that kind of thing. But really, as people that are Dynamics 365 and Power Platform, either experts or people that are learning about the Power Platform, one of the things that I would say to you is that, first of all, figure out a place that you want to really specialize, right? So find a place that you really enjoy and like working. As an example, I've seen stuff that Eric and Amy and Jiva and everyone post all over the place around areas that they're really good at, right? But one of my favorite places is within the common data service. As I said to you all before, I'm not going to claim to understand the ERP layer. It's not something that I'm very good at. So when I start talking about utilizing finance and operations and all these crazy tools that we've got, it's not something that I'm necessarily going to understand. But then I have people that I can go to that understand these different products, okay? The place that I live and love is here, and the Power Platform. It's part of the area that I've chosen to focus on, but it doesn't mean you need to choose to focus on that area. So don't think for 1 second that you're forced to do everything. And if you are, you know what, like, guys, that's crazy, folks. I mean, just think about the fact that this product stack is very deep and very wide. There's a lot to do in here. There's a lot of room for everyone as well, right? So just don't forget that. Don't think that because you're focusing on something that somebody else is focusing on, there's no place for you. Believe me, everyone's got a different perception and everyone's got a different view of how this all fits together. So in summary, I just want to say, I've gone through a lot and I've gone through it fast. Believe me, I can spend literally 4 hours just on this slide. But remember, okay, in summary, the Dynamics, the business application product stack is massive. It is absolutely massive. I bet a lot of you didn't even know that some of these applications exist, that actually they existed. I only found out recently about the planning service. I was like, wow, that's crazy. Okay, it's going to be something I learn about. But the key takeaway here is that with BizApps, right, the Power Platform is currently included in the business application stack. It will be on its own, in my opinion, in some points. Okay, but BizApps customer engagement is built on top of the same digital bricks that make up the Power Platform. Right. So think about that. Think about that when you're building out these solutions, there is no limit to what you can create, but there are pre-built things that you can use as well. So don't think that building the field service application is a great idea, because I can promise you it's not. But leveraging the field service application within organizations is an awesome idea. Just find the right product that fits the right business scenario and don't force anything. That's the one thing that I learned very quickly with this product set, is that forcing something into a, well, let's put it this way, forcing a square peg into a round hole never works. Okay, you either chip off the corners or you break the hole. And that's what happens in organizations, right? Don't try and hammer product in where it doesn't need to go. And we've got all this pre-built stuff already. If you have to have a licensing discussion, start talking value, right? And that's really what I wanted to leave you with, is that this product stack is deep and wide. Find the place and find the product that fits best for you and best for your customer. Okay, now I know that there were some folks that had their hands up. I can take some questions. I hope that makes sense. Like I said, it's a very, very, very quick and deep presentation. And by no means do I expect you to absorb all of it. Right, so thank you for your patience. Any questions? Let's have a look.
Well, thank you so much, Chris. That's lots of information for a short span of time.
It's tons, I know. Loads.
Like me to post it there again.
Wait, who's got their hand up?
I'll just quickly post all the questions right here.
Yeah,
you
cool,
can
cool.
pick it up.
Yeah, I'm looking now. Greetings. Oh, there we are. See you soon.
I just sent you the
CDS is on top of data lakes. So is there a way to use this data lake subscription and use it for archival? Yeah, so that's a great question, Geetha. A lot of people have been asking about an archive service, because as you know, when you're putting transactional information into the common data service, it can grow quite massively because of the normalization problems. Not problems, the fact that it is highly normalized. So no one has written an archival yet. When I spoke to the product group, I didn't get an answer, which means that something may be on the roadmap. I don't believe there is. I believe that there's room for a partner to build an archive solution. But yeah, it's an awesome question, and it's been something that's been on the tip of everyone's tongue for a while. The next one is looking at the CDS stack. Is security higher than the rest? A Freudian slip, maybe? Potentially. I mean, in the CDS, the security layers are massive. You know, you've got more security in a common data service than you do in SharePoint, and you could build the security layers directly into SQL, but you do have a lot more control over what's in the common data service from a security perspective. That being said, it's not going to be something that you just say, oh, I'm going to do security now, and you do it in a day. Security is a very, very complicated subject. It goes pretty deep, but in my opinion, it is the most secure data facility. And I'm using the term facility, not storage tool, because it's not just data storage. So the next one, greetings, and CDS is such a friend to end users. I agree. How should we think about this relative to Cosmos DB and Synapse as data source? Yeah, so that's a great question, actually. So first of all, I'm going to take that first one, right? When you're dealing with things like Cosmos DB and Synapse, and Synapse, I never put the right emphasis on the right syllable. I would suggest that it depends on how, so my expertise isn't there, I'm just going to tell you, but it depends on how much time it takes you to actually generate the same type of functionality in both of those. I will tell you that the CDS has got a lot of built-in stuff. That's why it is the price that it is. Cosmos DB, I know, is going to be fairly manual. Synapse or Synapse, I don't know as much about, so I could probably take that away. And then why isn't CDS talked about within the same passion as Azure DBs? That's because Azure has got a much wider following than Dynamics. So when you're looking at the business applications world, we're not the largest area in Microsoft, whereas Azure and M365 are. So what you'll find is that a lot more people speak about Azure because they know about it. Not everyone knows about Common Data Service, but that's changing, and I can tell you why. With the fact that we're working with the cloud advocacy team like Donna Saka, we've gotten up to 4 million monthly active developers, and that's getting bigger. So you'll start noticing in the keynotes and things, Sachin Adela, James Phillips, etc., will be bringing CDS and Power Platform and a lot more. And then last question, I know I'm going a little bit over and I apologize. Last question from Geetha, omnichannel integration framework, how easy is it to connect to channels? It depends. You have to know custom code if you're building from scratch. If you're not building from scratch and there's an already existing channel with an existing connector, it's minutes. Cool. Hope that's helped. Any other questions?
I guess that's all, Chris, for now.
Cool. All right, everyone. Well, thank you very much for being patient. Sorry, I forgot to put the slide at the end. It happens every now and then. I think I just hit it. But yeah, I appreciate your time. Thank you very much for having me, guys. Honestly, I love the fact that you've taken your day/night out to hang out and talk tech and BizApps.
That's our absolute pleasure having you here, Chris. Thanks for your time. I know you're quite busy, or very much busy, in fact.
It's cool, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Anytime, man. And yeah, I appreciate the invite.
Yeah. Thanks.
Cool. We'll chat soon, everyone. Have a good one.
Chris. Thank you.
Ciao.
Yeah. Guys, before jumping into the next session, I just quickly like to share some information about the ASEAN's community and Singapore community, what we have here. So I'll have Sanjeev to give some introduction on that, and then I'll share some useful links. I mean, all the links for our meetups and all the upcoming global events and local events as well. Sanjeev, would you like to go ahead?
Thank you very much, Jiva. Can you folk hear me?
Yeah, then good.
If Chris is still there, man, thank you very much. What a phenomenal evening. It was a fantastic introduction on the CDS component. We'll, as a community, do everything we can to evangelize CDS for the simple reason there are more end users than there are devs. So we'll make sure that CDS is, at least out here where we are, we evangelize it to the max possible extent. On the community folk, well, first of all, thank you very much for making time in the evening, to being with us. This is fantastic. We have a great speaker ahead of us as well. So kindly stay with us till the end. We have we have a great evening plan. We have, we started off just about a year or so ago with a Singapore-based community, right? Here, we started off in Singapore. So we had about 80 users or so at the start. We are over 600 people across ASEAN right now, right? In each of the countries, major countries, at least in ASEAN, is what we have. In every major country, we run a meetup every month, including Singapore, right? Where we actually started off. And then once every quarter, we actually have a all Saturday event where we have both people from the outside, as an example from the UK, as an example today, and the US, as well as, from our own backyard, right? I mean, some of our own folks. So we would love for you to come in, speak, spread the word, be part of, the community. And our goal is very simple. It's not about us. It's about we as a community and us as users, us as devs and things like that. It's about us. It's not about me, or it's not about Jiva or any of the folk here, right? You mean the leads or whatever, right? It's about you. So kindly come in, participate, be active speakers, raise your hands and, put up your hands for, speaking slots. And then evangelize the community. There are 2.5 million people here in ASEAN. If you look at people in the age group, 1% of the age group between 25 and 55 years old, 1%, it's 2.5 million people. So a massive opportunity. Okay. So kindly spread the word. Please join us. Thank you very much. Okay. Jiva, back to you, sir.
Thank you, Sanjeev. Sanjeev said very well, guys. This is not about people who organize it or something like that. It's open platform. anybody can join, and anybody can, if they're willing to present, they can present it. There's no absolute no limitations at all. By the way, just adding more to what Sanjeev said, and before going into Ankit's session, I'm sorry, Ankit, I'm going to take 5 minutes of 2 or 3 minutes of your time. I'm absolutely sorry for that.
It's okay.
And, yeah, so whom it is for? Actually, it's for everyone. To be honest, it's for Microsoft business applications and consultants, developers, analysts, customers, partners, and other consultants as well, like Azure consultants, developers, and some Salesforce, whatever it is.
End users, folks. End users.
End users, yeah. Customers, it's there. Yeah, I don't want to brag too much on this slide, so let me move on here. Yeah, so what we have in the upcoming events is, so we have a Malaysia event on 27th, that's tomorrow. I will share the links for all this user group, the countries link over the chat, and also I will drop the YouTube URL for where the recording will be placed, okay, for this one, because actually this is Singapore user group, so we will be hosting this video in 2 YouTube channels. I'll just post them here. And you can also see after Malaysia, we have Philippines on 31st of August, and then Sri Lanka on, when is the date, Kasun? It's not yet finalized?
September 4th, Jiva.
September 4th, okay, so it's on September 4th. Yeah, and then there are also other global events, happening right now, and so there is 365 Saturday events that are happening every Saturday. There are lots of interesting events, and Power Addicts, they do monthly Hangouts call, and there are other materials being shared by Power Addicts across the world. You can follow them in their hashtag, and there are also Power Community. Earlier known as TDG, now it's Power Community. So you can follow up here, and this is the URL. I will share the URL of all these pages anyways in the chat. And we have XRM virtual event coming up, and the submission for speaker is still open. Correct me if I'm wrong, Eric. You can always go anywhere, anytime. You can go and submit your presentation. And there is also Power Platform quiz that is happening every month, and Hemi Holden is there right now, and she's taking care of that. And all these are different variety of events, to be honest. Each of them have their own flavors and own presentations, all the local and global events. So kindly utilize this.
Thanks, Jiva. Hi, everyone. Good evening. It's been a long day for Singapore guys, right? So it's been a long day, and now finally it's time for taking a break, and then we have a session again at 8 o'clock. So I hope you guys, everyone is able to hear me. Okay. So let us start quickly. Okay. So I'll share my screen. Just hold on. Okay. So can you guys see my screen?
Yes, indeed, Ankit. Superman.
Hey, thanks, Sanjeev. So, okay, let's start. Okay, so first of all, thank you, Jiva. Thank you, Sanjeev. You guys are doing just great. Thanks for this opportunity for me to come and speak. Okay. And it's indeed a great platform for learning and for sharing. Okay, let's do that. So as I mentioned, it's been a long day. So let's try to just directly go into that, try to wrap up things, try to learn something at the end of the day. Okay. So, okay. So what are we going to see today? Okay. So I've been working quite in Dynamics space for the last 4 years now, not much compared to you all. So and I have a bit of experience in BC as well. So what we are going to see is why do we need integration between CRM and BC? Okay, we have Dynamics 365 for sales, and then we have Business Central all coming under Dynamics 365 suite. Okay, so why is it required? That's the first thing we'll be checking, and then we'll see what can be integrated as a standard process. Definitely, you can extend it. You can add as many logics, code units inside BC to integrate with CRM components. But yeah, so we'll see what's available in standard, the integrating components. Then we'll go on to see, okay, what's the process? How does the sales gets converted into contracts? And then we try to do the accounting and billing and whatever information in BC. Okay, we'll see that full process, how integrated it can be. We'll discuss some integration steps. Okay, we have some important points that we need to take care for this integration, otherwise we'll mess up. Okay, and then finally we'll have the demo. Okay, so okay, so that's me. Okay, so it's been I've been here in Singapore for some 3+ years, and that's where I've been working in Dynamics. Pretty new to Dynamics space. Earlier I was in Oracle applications working for that. And yes, so a small portfolio, but yeah, I've been working in Dynamics 365 for sales, customer service, and marketing extensively, and have done over 12 to 14 plus implementations in last 4 to 4.5 years. And then yeah, so currently working slightly exploring Business Central and for the past 1 year. Okay, so you can reach me out as available. You can search Ankit. I definitely know there's only one Ankit Alankar available. Okay, so you can search me. I'll be there. Okay, so let's start. Okay, so uh, what's the use of dynamic CRM and BC integration? Okay, that's very important here. So we know Dynamics 365 has apps like sales, customer service, and it's extensively very good. Okay, it helps you manage your customers, you do your transactions, starts with leads. Okay, try to sell services to the particular customer, and then finally try to do service for them, maybe customer service, field service, etc. You have this Dynamics marketing as a powerful, very powerful tool, and it's huge. Okay, and then where it can help you generate a lot of leads. Okay, and which can be converted to sales. Okay, so that's how we know how these three different modules inside Dynamics 365 CRM are integrated. Okay, so they just talk to each other, and that's where customers like it. Okay, because these three modules actually are so tightly integrated that you can just try to fulfill the customer's needs as and when. Okay, so now what we do is in marketing, we try to generate leads, and then we try to create the opportunities, contracts, and then try to maybe create a sales order and invoices, right? And then finally we provide services, what sort, maybe whatever kinds of services you want to provide, etc. Right? Now, just think after CRM, we have someone who is managing the accounts. Okay, so these guys are actually from the accounting and financial sides. What they need to do? Okay, so they need to actually create these orders. Okay, sales orders, sales invoices, try to manage all and try to track for the payments. Okay, who has paid, what's the milestone billing, and a lot of things, right? That happens in the accounting system. So we have taken Business Central currently, and that is inside Dynamics, and I would like to show you that process, how it is done. Okay, so whatever happened, whatever sales orders that are created inside CRM can go through Business Central as sales orders. Okay, and then finally you will process those orders and create invoices. You have the invoice due dates and everything coming in, the invoice aging and everything managed there, and the payment receipts and all you create over there. Okay, now why it's important is because, see, there's a salesperson who needs to follow up. He needs to have their insights and track of the accounts, okay, that they are maintaining. That's important. That's very good. That's very important to see the account stats. And we'll later see how these information keep flowing from one system to another, means CRM to BC and etc. Okay, so as we mentioned, so BC is an application inside Dynamics 365. Okay, so it's used for the financial accounting system for small and mid-sized organizations. It comparatively has all the functionalities until unless your organization is very big and huge ERP and consolidation requirement. I think so we can manage out with Business Central. Okay, so with the sales, purchase, financial assets, and all the other modules inside that. Okay, now with these integration with Dynamics 365 for sales and BC, right? This will help automate that process and lead to less prone to errors. Okay, so that's where the automation takes place. Okay, and then what we can do, we can manage our customers inside CRM. Okay, and the order fulfillment, processing, invoicing, that can happen in the BC itself. Okay, so that's what we are telling. Well, data is flowing inside BC and CRM. We can perform sales and marketing activities inside inside sales, and then we can handle the order fulfillment, order processing, invoicing, and inventory management, etc. inside BC. Okay, so salesperson in turn can have the insights and status of the account while using Dynamics 365 for sales. That's important, so that they at times we need to follow up and do other stuff, so they know what is the status, sorry, of this account currently. Okay, finally, for this, okay, so customers, okay, let me just close this off. Okay, yeah, customers, quotations, orders, invoices, these will be the main components. Okay, and that's what we'll be discussing now. Okay, and we have to also take care of few things. Okay, so let's start. Okay, so we have two kinds of information while integrating anything. Okay, whether we have the masters and we have the transactionals. Okay, so masters, I would actually classify them as accounts, contacts, products, price list, and sales users. Okay, so how it works is, see, accounts and customers, accounts inside sales and customers inside BC are integrated. Okay, and it is bi-directional. So you create accounts inside sales, it will create it will create customer inside BC. Similarly, you create the customer inside BC, it will flow and create account inside sales. But we should also take care about the field mappings that we do. Okay, so if for bi-directional, usually there are some synchronization errors happening, because suppose you update something on the CRM side and you update BC and there's something in the BC side as well, and both are set to be bi-directional. That's where you need to set out certain rules and logic and come up with a integration mapping telling that, okay, these particular fields from accounts can flow from here to here and flow from here to there. Okay, that's very important here. So that's where, so account and customers are actually bi-directional, it can flow from here and there. Okay, we have the contact. Okay, so the contact is a contact again there. So again, this is bi-directional as mentioned. You have the contacts created here, it can be created there, and vice versa. Okay, the products are classified and named as items inside BC. So if you see, if you create a product here, so same product you can sell from sales, and if it goes to BC, it will be tagged to the item, and finally you can actually try to do the order fulfillment and all. Okay, again, it's bi-directional, but we have to again take care of it, because see, and as we know, if we are from Business Central or any financial things, right? So financial background, we know that every setup here inside BC, like especially customers, items, right? They have a lot of accounting setups in that. They have certain posting groups, the business posting group, product posting groups that are set up inside these masters. So we should ensure that these transactions actually come in from BC and come into CRM. Like suppose if you have products, so suppose you are selling services, okay, so like any kinds of services, you create those service items inside BC and just flow it towards CRM. Okay, and so that the salesperson can use these products and try to sell to the customers. Okay, same way for the products, the tangible items as well. Okay, so again, this is bi-directional as per need. Similarly, we have prices. Okay, prices and the unit group. So price list and all will be, again, as soon as you pass the products, you see the migration of prices and all as well. We'll see that. And finally, the sales users and sales reps. So basically, suppose in CRM, you have the sales users who are actually doing the sales, and they get a specific sales credit, right? So these information needs to be updated inside the sales orders. Okay, so that who the salesperson was. So this mapping also needs to be done. Okay, so which user in a CRM is mapped to which salesperson inside BC. Okay, so this was broadly about master data. Okay, so how the master data transactions can happen. Okay, next we see is something called transactional data. So transactional would be what? So would be like the quotations, the orders, the invoices, some item availability services and all, right? So what happens, the quotation from CRM flows on to BC as a sales quote. Okay, similarly from order, if you see order gets created inside CRM, it flows on to BC. Okay, the invoices and invoice products actually gets created from BC and just it passes over to CRM. So we'll see this information, the sales invoice flowing inside this, and finally seeing the end-to-end picture of it. Okay, and also we have also a functionality called item availability. So basically, suppose you are selling some stockable items from CRM. Okay, and you want to check whether the stock is there for this item or not. So you have this item availability service. Okay, that you can actually use it to fetch the items availability and accordingly approach the customers and do the work. Okay. So these two are the flow, and this is the overall flow. Okay, so that what happens inside sales and what happens inside Business Central. Okay, this actually explains quite a bit. Okay, so in sales, what we do, we create a lead. Okay, we have the master data as mentioned. There's account, contact, product, price list. Let's not speak about that. The directional flow is also mentioned. But what we have, let's think how the process flow integrates. Okay, so we have this lead. We create a lead, we qualify them into an opportunity. That's where we enter all these details. Opportunity, we enter the opportunity products and see what all services or what all products this particular customer want. We create a quotation for them. You create revision quotation, add discounts and blah, blah, blah. You create those quotations, you create revised quotations, you have everything ready. This quotation actually flows inside BC. Now, depending on the functionality, okay, and depending on the business requirement, we start where the integration should start, okay, how the processing should happen. Most customers want that after the quotation is finalized and activated, we are going to start creating sales order in BC and just process it accordingly. Okay, you create the sales orders, you post the sales orders, and then create the invoice and send it over to CRM. Okay, there are few customers who follow this. Other customers who say that, okay, no, you play with this quotation, everything inside sales, and after you create the order and that order is active or order is finalized, that's where you submit this order to BC so that BC can start processing from order level. Okay, so again, it depends. There are two ways that you can do. So can you please mute? I think so someone is hello. Oh, sorry. I think so someone unmuted by mistake. Okay, so where I was. Okay, yeah, quotation. So you have this, it depends on whether you want to start the accounting inside Business Central, the accounting process inside BC from sales order or from sales quote. Again, it depends on the business functionality. You can do it as you want. Okay, so but what I'll show is after quotation, we are going to activate that quotation and create an order. Okay, so after the order is active, what we'll do, we are going to submit that order to Business Central. Okay, so that the Business Central can process these orders, and finally what we'll do is after the order is processed, it updates the particular order inside CRM, telling the status is whatever it is, status is invoiced or fulfilled accordingly. Okay, and then finally after the invoice is generated and posted inside BC, okay, so it flows back to CRM along with the proper status and everything. Okay, I think so until here should be clear to everyone. Hope any questions, can you unmute and ask so that I can proceed with the demo next?
Ankit, so far we are good, no questions. I will ask them to put the questions in the chat after your session. You can take it.
Sure. Okay, yeah. Jiva. Sure. Thanks. Thank you. Okay, great. So what should be the integration steps? So we have some prerequisites and what steps we are going to follow. Okay, what we should have both the instances BC and CRM with the same base currency. Okay, that's what. So BC will have the reporting currency or the base currency, the base currency as whatever, and the CRM should also have the base currency. That's the first thing. Second, we need the global administrator credentials to set up the CDS connection and set up the Dynamics 365 for sales connection. These are the two prerequisites. Definitely you need an instance. Okay, the steps would be, what I'll do is first I'm going to enable CDS connections inside BC. Then I'm going to enable Dynamics 365 for sales connection inside BC. These are two steps that came in recently, maybe a couple of months back. Earlier, we didn't have the CDS connection. We were directly connecting through CDS using the Dynamics 365 for sales connection and all. We have some integration users and all, but now it's changed completely. So what we do is we create this we create the connection in CDS that would create some application users inside CRM, and then so that the integration can happen through this application users. Okay, that we'll see. Then we have the sales connection that we are going to do. Then finally we will do some integration table mapping. There's something called coupling. Okay, the coupling word itself tells that, okay, this guy here should be mapped to this guy there. This product here should be mapped to this product there. It can be automated, it can be manual, and literally the word coupling. Okay, so it couples both the records so that the CDS or the system knows, data integrator knows that, okay, this guy should be mapped here. Okay, and that's where the flow of data will happen. Okay, so coupling conditions, we have the direction of data flow. Again, that's important. Data flow from here to there, which field should flow from here to there, and this is all from the UI and configurable. Okay, apart from the standard fields, right, you can actually extend this code units inside BC to actually extend this integration. Suppose you have extra fields that you need to do. 1 minute. So these customizations, or if you need to increase or you need to extend this particular integration, what's important here is everything has to be done in BC. There's nothing you can do in CRM. In CRM, you can just create those fields and just put it into the entities. That's it, nothing else. These extensions and this code unit, extending the code unit has to be done inside BC. Okay. And then finally, what we'll do is initially we'll create some coupling so that we can have the standard integration flow. Okay, so that's it. So this is all required. Okay, so for this demo setup, okay, it was quite quick. And yeah, So, okay, some important points that I mentioned here. So it is required to have the same base currency that we discussed. The second point is very important, and we have seen system messing up, okay, because we have to use the standard fields inside CRM, the meaning of them. Like if it's a discount field, percentage discount field, you use it as it is, okay, because what happens that especially when we use that custom pricing, right, the functionality in sales, if you use custom pricing and try to uh, do some customization there in the standard fields, that's where you will mess up the integration. BC is going to mess you up. So you should take care that you use the standard fields as is the meaning. Like if it's discount, manual discount in the sales, you use that manual discount as that. If there's tax field, you use them as a tax field and all. Okay. Even if you are customizing something, make sure that you are ending up using the meaning of that field as the same as you have in sales. Okay. Now, initial design, we need to take care, okay, the direction of the fields we discussed earlier. We have to take care of the direction of the fields, where the value should go, what the value should go, so that we don't mess up and just go into this integration synchronization error. There will be a lot. Will tell that, okay, this data has been updated from both sides, which one you want to update and all. So there will be a lot of mess there. Okay, so we need to ensure, and we have to put proper validations and all. Okay. Now, second thing, the fourth thing that I would like to tell is that uh, this quotation and orders that we submit to BC, right? If you change anything in BC, okay, like price, quantity, whatever, add an extra line, it does not change back to CRM. Okay, so we should be sure and we should add proper validations and some proper. Otherwise, the data integrity will be gone, right? So we have to take care of that. Okay. There is one open issue in integration currently, and it's very strange. I don't know how it happened, and somehow I raised a ticket with Microsoft, and they're telling that it's a known issue, and they plan to fix it sometime later, and don't know when. So what happens, right, in BC, right? Suppose the invoice is created, and you try to pay those invoice. Okay, so you paid that invoice, so the status inside CRM gets paid. That's perfectly fine. But what happens if you cancel the invoice? The status still gets paid inside CRM. That's where the mess happens. So we need to take care of that. So current open issues in the integration, maybe we need to customize, we need to add a flow inside Power Automate, maybe to update the status accordingly. Okay, so we can extend that definitely. Okay, so what we'll do is let's start this. Let's start the demo. Let's start it right from the scratch. We create the connection and we do everything. Okay, so quickly let me open the instance. So, okay, so this is BC. I just freshly installed this. Okay, and then we have okay, this is CRM. Okay, so we have the CRM integration here, and let's see the users. Pretty slow. Okay, so we have certain users just like this configured here. Okay, so what we are going to do is we are going to follow the steps accordingly. Okay, what we'll do is first we are going to create the common data service connection. Okay, so what I'll do is I'll search. It's very simple here in BC. Feel anything you are missing, just try to search anything. It will just put you there. Okay. So we have this common data service connection. Okay, I have this environment URL. Okay, let me just double check. Oh, okay, let me just double check. Okay, that's okay. It will add a slash at the end. That's fine. Let's enable this. Okay, so that's where it's going to ask you, okay, for the credentials inside this CRM. Okay, so let's see what my credentials are. I think so. It's this P2, right? Okay, let's see this. That works fine. Okay, so it's what it will have full access and it will have certain consents that you need to give. Okay, let me accept that. Okay, so I think so in the meanwhile, what happens, it will do some initial setups and it will try to install the connection. We are just now connecting to CDS, so it should be okay. So it will just try to create that connection. And we'll see the changes inside CRM as well. Okay, just hold on. We'll keep moving here and we'll see the changes inside both the instance, what's happening. Okay. Okay, it takes a while. Meanwhile, I think so it takes a while. Is there any? Okay, we don't have any until now. Okay, that's fine. Okay. So initially, the first time, what happens that it takes a while. It will actually try to create certain application users inside this and try to have that access security role given to them. Okay, there are some standard processes that it does automatically. Similarly, the same thing we'll do that will happen. That will be happening in the sales connection that we do. Okay, just a few minutes. Meanwhile, any questions you can shoot out. Okay. So until this goes, let me show you here what happens. Okay, I've just set up this just prior to this. So this is where the connection setup is done, and after the connection, this happens. Okay, so I doubt we have less time for this demo. Maybe I'll just show you the connections here. Okay, so let me show you. Okay, I think so it will keep doing it. So this is one of the connections that I've done. I have connected with CRM. Okay, it's enabled with certain roles, secure user roles are checked, team roles are checked, item availability, entities availability, there's certain check it does. Okay, this is where you can check the test the connection, and also this is the initial setup that we do, is that is called as a common data service connection. Okay, we just enable this. So after this, what we'll do is we have to create the connection for Dynamics 365 for sales. Connection setup. Okay. Yeah, we are there. So this is what I told. It's just enabled. I'll just open Dynamics 365 connection. So if you see it's not enabled, nothing is done. So I try to enable this. And again, it's going to do the same thing. It's going to navigate me to here to ask me to connect to that instance. Okay, so I'll use this connection. Consent. Now what's happening? What will happen? What this is going to do? Okay, so it will try to import a solution inside CRM. It will try to create a Business Central import solution. Earlier, when we didn't have this, so we had to manually actually import the managed solution. Sorry, and then we try to do the create those application users and try to do the other stuffs. But now actually what this will do, it will actually import the solution inside there. It will create a BU, it will create a team. Okay, and then maybe it will create an application user, it will assign the roles. So everything will be done. Okay, so that will happen inside CRM. Okay, so just quickly I'll come here, just see the solutions, what's happening. If you see this, there's a Business Central CDS integration that has been imported. As I mentioned earlier, now we are trying to import the Dynamics 365 for sales connection. Okay, so it takes a while. Meanwhile, let's see the users who have been created until now. So we have this Business Central integration user already imported. If I try to see the roles for this, the default roles will be created already and mapped. Okay, so if you go to manage role, there should be a Business Central integration, CDS integration is already there. Okay, then we go to the teams. Okay, we go to security and we go to teams. Let's see the teams whether created or not. So if you see, okay, so it has created a BU called demo company. So this is the demo company. If you see, the company is demo company here, right? It is a default company, the company inside BC. It has created a BU here and it has created a team inside that as well called BCI demo company. So this is BCI is for Business Central Integration hyphen the company name and obviously the GUID of this company. So if you see, this has come here, the security and everything is here. The solution should be here. So we are actually, so if you see, the new solution might have come for CDS and this is for, if you see, Business Central Integration. So we have this two solutions integrated. This one is for the CDS connection. The other one is for the Business Central integration. Okay. So our initial setup is done. Okay. So now let's see what has come. Okay. So two setups done. Let's come here and see there's something called that's the third step we mentioned, right? We'll be seeing the coupling and this integration steps. Okay. So what I'll do is integration table mappings. Okay. Let's see what it is. Okay. Okay, so as mentioned, okay, earlier I was speaking about the entities. If you see nicely, this is what will get integrated. Okay, I didn't mention about opportunity, but this is also actually getting transferred here and there. So okay, so what we have is the contact. If you see, it's bidirectional. Currency is two integration, means it's going to go from here to there. Customers, again, it's bidirectional. The payment terms from integration, sales order, posted sales orders and all, it's posted sales invoices. It's going to go where? It's going to go to integration, means it's going to go from BC to, it's going to go, then go to CRM and all. Okay, so this is what now. This when we do the initial setup, right? This is something that we miss here. Okay, this is a checkbox here, and that mentions that sync only coupled records. What does it mean? Okay, so usually what happens, like few entities we want that, okay, everything should not come in. Okay, there's a person who does manual coupling. Okay, so that's where it comes up. Okay, so let me do one thing. Let me first do some initial and let you know what does it mean. So suppose if you see this product and product price list. Okay, so if you see this, it's not tick. So as and when if a product is synchronized, suppose any product is already synchronized, if you try to add a price list to that, this guy will automatically synchronize. That's what it means. But the product won't synchronize because it's telling whatever I couple manually is going to synchronize. Okay, so that's where you need to do some initial check. You have that's where the sync only records comes in. Okay, if you see this integration table filter, that's where you add the filters. Okay, which contact should go, which contact should flow. Okay, like if you see here, the customer, we have some filter here. Okay, and we have some filter there. So that's the integration table filter usually happens, that which record should come from here to there and which records come from here to there. Okay, now there's something that I didn't mention was vendor. Okay, and I don't know why this vendor was introduced, because see, vendors is something that if we have worked on financials and also vendor is something that is a part of payables. Okay, where we have to pay money. Now what has happened is this vendor is getting synchronized to CRM account. Okay, that was funny for me, because I don't know why we integrated, maybe some use that I have not yet explored. So vendor actually gets integrated to CRM account. So now suppose in the account, if it's created and if you try to create a sales order and you select that particular vendor by mistake, it will just be stuck in the interface forever, right? So that's where this is just introduced a couple of months back. Maybe Microsoft will definitely be trying to introduce something else on top of it. Okay, so we have this customers and all we spoke. And inside this, we have this something called as a fields. Okay, so suppose I open the customer. These are the field mapping. Okay, where this happened to integration, bi-directional integration. That is what I was speaking. We need to come up, sit down with the BC team and just try to understand, okay, what field should flow from here to there. Okay, that's very important. As mentioned, you can just click on edit list and try to change this. Okay, that's not a problem. You can do that. Okay, so 2 points mentioned, the different entities, we have the different fields. Okay, so let's do some initial coupling so that we can just flow some transactions. Okay, so maybe for product, I need to first transfer the unit of measures. Okay, so maybe it's since sync only, I'll just edit this list. Okay, I'll just try to remove this checkbox. Okay, and I'll just synchronize this full. I'll just synchronize all the unit of measure. Oh, what happened? Okay, did save, it seems. Okay, let's see. Okay, so I just want to synchronize a unit of measure, like we have something called each and pieces and all, right? So this should integrate to CRM. So let's see. Okay, so if I quickly come here, the sales, and do we have unit of measure here? It should be under sales app. No, sorry, it's not here. Okay, let's go here then. So let's go to, where is it? I forgot already. Product catalog, right? Where is it? Okay, yeah. So whatever unit of measure was here has been gone there. So suppose if you try to migrate, I try to send the products there, it's going to fail. It will tell that the unit of measure doesn't measure. So we have to go with certain sequence. Okay, so first thing is unit. So if you see this nav box and all, nav definitely it's BC. Now BC is named as after, it was earlier nav, so that's why. So if you have this information here, right, the unit groups created inside this, you will have some default units as well. So let's see if I can see that. It's old UI. It should come as pieces and all. So okay, so if you see this, units and unit groups have been created already. Okay, now let's do one thing. Let's migrate all the products from here. So where is the products? Item products, right? So I'll just untick this again so that later on the synchronization. So first I'm going to migrate all the products. Okay, so I have done that. I'll select this and I'll do the run full synchronization. So let all the products go there so that we can sell this products. Okay. Takes a while. And also you can see that logs also, whether it's failed or is success due to some reason or another, right? So it's uncompleted. Let's see the job log now. Okay, so it will tell you it's inserted 19 if you see. Okay, for this, and one has failed due to some reason. I don't know what. Which one is that? It's coupled with the delete. Okay, because I was connecting to some other instance, it's fine. Okay, so this is one product that I have done. Okay, now next thing what I'll do is I'll maybe just try to couple all the customers. Okay, so you might be seeing I'm just unticking and ticking it. Okay, you can do that. You can keep it unticked. Okay, so that if you try to create any product in future, it will automatically synchronize there. Okay, so my customers are gone there. So I think so I'm ready. Let's see. Okay, we have the accounts. Okay, let's see all accounts. Okay, so we have this accounts here, trade research and all. Okay, then we have the products. Where's it gone? Yeah, it was unit group was here. Okay, product catalog should come up. All the list should come up here. Or settings, sorry. So if you see, these are all the products that was created there. Okay, you have price list. So one default price list will be created. If you remember, right, I told that as soon as you migrate the product, the respective price will also go because we don't need to synchronize this. Okay. So if you see, this product price list is automatically gone and the price list items has been created based on the default price that was set up at the item level. Okay, one more thing, if I open this, okay, so in this pricing information, you will have this information, current cost and list price and all. As you know, in sales, you can build your own price list with your logic, taking into consideration these three things. So you can do that as well. Up to you, as long as BC receives the price, is going to do that. So this is where it is. And if I try to open, I think so I'm done with the initial setup. I'll just try to open item to show you from where what is coming. If I click on this item, let's open any item. So if you see here, inventory, the stock and all will be there, net weight and all not transferred. This is the price that goes in. Okay, so you have the unit price excluding GST, you have the profit, and based on that, you'll have the information going. So the standard cost, the unit cost, this information will go there. Okay. Now, something that you need to take care of while doing anything, like suppose what we do is inside BC, we can configure the VAT, okay, the tax that needs to be applied, okay, for each orders. Now, in here we have something called VAT product posting group. Based on the combination is going to take the particular taxing. Okay, like suppose let me open this VAT product, so product posting groups. Okay, so inside this you will define, okay, what is the tax. Okay, and if you go to the setup, suppose I select GST 10. Okay, setup. So it's telling for VAT posting group domestic and product posting, you will have this percentage. So there's some setups that happen at the customer level. So this thing comes from the customer level. This thing comes from the product level. Okay, based on that, the particular percentage is defined. Okay, so for now, what I have done is I've just disabled the tax. Okay, reason being is, see, inside CRM you need to from based on the item you need to maybe default certain taxation rules. Okay, or default the tax so that the amount gets automatically populated. Okay, so what I'll do is I'll quickly maybe run through one process. Okay, and this one has tax enabled, so I just want to go without tax. Okay, reason is what happens is, suppose inside CRM you create a particular order that does not contain any tax amount, and as soon as it flows to BC, the taxation is calculated according to them, right? So that's where the differences happen. Okay, so we need to take care of that. So let me quickly do it here. Okay, so let me open one account first. Okay, show you the view. Okay, how the salesperson is going to see. So this is the first account. Okay, if you see this, right, these outstanding orders, the BC customer balance, this is what is very important. This is directly getting integrated and coming directly from BC, okay, based on whatever the stats of the particular customer is. So if I try to open the customer over here, okay, it will have certain information. Okay, so this, if you see the statistics, the sales history, this information gets automatically flown there. Okay, so today you know that we have a balance of this much that we need to take from this customer. Okay, and based on that, what is outstanding orders, how many orders outstanding, sorry, and what is and different information. Okay, so let's just now just run through one quick sales process. Okay, from here to there, maybe one without tax and one with tax. Okay, so maybe I'll create an opportunity, require ATHEN, I don't know, require products. Okay, I'll select the account maybe as a datum. Okay, just save this. I'll come to products. So I'm just quickly going through the sales process because I am sure you might be slightly aware of this already. So just quickly, I'll just create these products and product items. So I select this Athen desk. Okay. So this, if you see, this price has automatically populated based on the price list. You can create your own you can define your own rules, own price list. As long as the BC receives an amount, it's going to process it. Okay. So that's where I have created the opportunity. Okay, that's where what I'll do is I'm just going to create a quotation for it because the customer is interested in a quote. I'll just try to create a quote. Blah blah. It's all come here. Okay, the amount and everything will be populated. If you see here, and this thing has come. Okay, the customer is happy with the quote. I'll just try to activate this quote and try to create this order. Okay, I'll tell yes, one. Okay, fine. So now this is where your integration starts. Okay, for my case, so it's this where the sales order is there. Okay, now the order is there telling that they need this at Athens shares. Okay, and this, we see this item availability, right? This is directly coming from BC. So today, if I go to BC, okay, I open this item, I open this availability. If you see, the inventory is 100, right? This is showing the ledger entries, complete ledger entries, but this is what I have. The current inventory that I have is 100. So that's where your sales guys will know what is the item availability. Mostly for the stockable items, for non-stockable, like for the services where you're selling services, it's actually not required. Okay. So there's a submit order button. I don't know, it's lost. So usually we'll get a submit order button here. I don't know what happened. So let me just change the status to submitted. Okay, so now what happens is this guy is submitted and it's gone to Business Central. So order is processed, the status is in progress, and it's gone to BC. Let's come here. Okay, so I've come here to BC. Okay, if you see, this is Dynamics 365 for sales. I have created a bookmark. So let me show you where these staging tables are. Okay, what's the serious tables? Okay, so just search Dynamics 365. Okay, so if you see, products, unit group, sales order, sales course, opportunities you cannot process, you can just see. So if you see here, you will see all the list of opportunities, but you cannot do anything. You cannot create in BC, right? Because BC does not have any opportunity or something, just showing that list. Okay, so let me open the sales order. Okay, so now if you see, it has come here, right? And you need to manually click on create in BC. Okay, that's the thing you can avoid using some setups. That's I'm going to show you. Dynamics 365 connection setup. Okay, I'm running short of time. Okay, so inside this connection setup, if you see here Dynamics 365 for sales setting, it's telling automatically create sales order integration enabled. Okay, let me, I don't know why it's telling like that. Okay, it's for automatic processing. Okay, just hold on. Okay, then you can automatically create the sales orders. Okay, so what happened, as soon as it comes here, there will be a job queue that actually takes it from the staging and creates it there. Okay, suppose there are some errors due to some logic customer that you have sent is not coupled with this, it is going to stay there in the staging. Okay, so I'm not enabling this. Let's just directly click here, click create in BC. Okay. So this is the sales order created. If you see, amount excluding tax is this, inclusive of tax, because I have not put any tax here because I did not put there. So you have this total amount flowing in as per CRM. Okay, so now what I'll do, I'll just quickly ship an invoice. So what I'm doing is I'm just shipping this product accordingly. Okay, I'll ship an invoice quickly. So what it does, it will create this sales invoice. Okay, now quickly let's come and see the status. What happens? It will show the status is invoiced, right? Now it means the invoice has come, and so the invoice should come in. So it's still not come in, right? Because the auto sync I have not done. Okay, so you can auto synchronize that as well. So but right now what I'll do, I'll just manually transfer this. Okay, so you go here to navigate and just create invoice in BC. Okay, so as I mentioned, the sales order processing happens, all the accounting happens. Now this guy has flown over here. Let's see quickly whether it's come here. So if you see, this guy has come here, okay, with all the information coming. Okay, so the status is active and billed, means this guy is not yet paid. Okay, let's quickly create a receipt journal for him. Okay, so I'll come here, cash management, cash receipt journals. I'll take this just basic batch. Okay, I'll take a document type as a customer, account is edit. I'm just doing this because who is not familiar, I'm just trying to populate. I'm just trying to do the transaction and apply these entries here. Okay, so I think so it's the last order, right? What is the invoice number? 103408, right? I'm just going to apply this. Set applies to ID. I'll click OK. Okay, now if you see here, this guy will be applied, and let me just try to post it. Okay, so I'm just trying to create a receipt journal and just trying to pay that particular invoice. Okay, so if I quickly go to this invoice will be paid and this customer won't have any outstanding balance. Okay, so let me go to the quickly to the customer inside BC. I open this guy. If you see, this balance here is still 7,500 that we saw earlier, and that order, if you see, it's not here. Okay, the invoice is also not here. So basically what has happened is this order is paid. Now if you refresh this, the status is still billed. Now there's a reason for that. Again, everything is batch program. Okay, there's a job queue that updates it. So let me just update it quickly here. So if you go here, there's something called update account statistic. Okay, if I click on this guy will update everything to Dynamics 365 for sales. Okay, now let's quickly do a refresh and let's see if you see the status is paid. Okay, so that's what happens. So if I go to this customer, again, this outstanding amount, everything will be updated. The balance will be updated accordingly. So earlier the balance might be different. Now it's again updated. So if you see the time, that is 8:53, we are running short. So we are here. Okay, 8:53. So that's the basic flow of orders. Let's do quickly one order for discount. Okay, because that's again important. I was speaking earlier. It will take a couple of minutes. Okay, so let's quickly take this. Someone is unmute. Okay, let me just add a product. I'll use the same product. Okay, and maybe let me put a discount of suppose $10. Okay, let's use the standard field. So $10 has come here, and if you see the discount, you can use this discounts as well, and I'll tell you how it interprets inside BC. Okay, suppose I put a 5% discount as well here. Okay, so that's the standard one. Okay, so I have put a $10 in discount at the line level, and overall discount I've given a 5%. you can use the group discount as well, the discount list inside sales, okay, so that the volume discount gets populated automatically and this discount gets calculated. Okay, so quickly I'm going to activate this. The amount is 1788. Okay, I'll create this order. I've won this quote. Fine. Let me just quickly just submit this. Okay, usually you will have a submit order button. Okay, somehow I'm not getting that. I'll come here. I'll go to my base. I have bookmarked this. Let me open this. Okay, so we have a discount order. Let me create this. Okay. So if you see there's something coming in, okay, there's a discount on CDS order. It will be overwritten by BC settings. Okay, I'll tell you why, what it means, because what it does is it will try, suppose you have given a discount that is a amount discount in the line. Okay, BC will try to convert it into percentage because in the line level it has something called as a percentage discount. Okay, so let's quickly just see this. Okay, so if you see here, we have an amount. If you see the discount percentage has come because they don't have something that is called as a amount discount inside the line level. Okay, so we have this discount percentage. Maybe we can, there's a field that is amount discount that is hidden. It's fine. So we have this amount here. And if you see this 5% has come up here. Okay, so excluding and everything, the amount has come here. So if you see this discount, I think so it's 5% is 90, I believe. Yeah. So the amount is 17785. It should be the same, right? So I'll quickly post this, open the sales invoice, and then finally we have created the invoice inside BC, inside CRM. Okay, so let's open this. Oh, sorry. Discount order. I think so. This is the one. So if you see this, the amount has come. Now this guy, I put a percentage there at the order, but BC actually populated the amount. Okay, accordingly. So if you see here, I had added it calculated this as an amount. It transferred this 94. What all you can do is you can maybe extend this slightly to change that. Okay, but make sure that overall calculation remains the same. You can extend the particular code unit inside BC to do this. Okay, and yeah, so that's it. I think so. I hope it was good. So this was the discounts and everything. Okay, let's see. Okay, great. Let's see. Okay. Insert a flow note. Okay. Yeah, that's Sanjeev. Yes, it actually counts. But one thing is that it takes the overall inventory count. It does not do based on the warehouse setups. Okay. Okay, so different warehouse will have different account, but here it just take the overall because actually order fulfillment has to be done inside BC. Okay.
Yes.
Okay, thanks Manu. Thanks Geeta. Okay, will the actual billing amount be fed to CRM as the opportunity close amount? Okay, I think so. We have something called as a opportunity inside opportunity. We have something called as calculate revenue, right?
Yep.
Okay, so based on that setup here that you do, okay, whether it's user provided or system, if it is system, right, based on whatever amount that comes that you win inside the code will be populated inside the revenue here inside
really
the normal sales.
So first of all, thank you very much. This is brilliant here. Like, really quick, the issue that we normally face is that when there's a dealing between CRM and ERP, right? So typically when the sale is actually closed, what is recorded as the final amount may be the last recorded opportunity value in CRM, not necessarily what was finally agreed upon with the customer as contract. You follow me, right?
Correct.
So then that is the struggle usually, right? So how do you link the two together when you have that information already in BC?
Okay, Sanjeev, I think so. What we have done currently in our implementations also, because this actually creates a problem, agreed. So what we do is the actual contract amount or actual order amount may differ from what is there in the opportunity level, right? That's the thing.
Yeah.
So what we do inside this validation, and that's where we are talking about the process, we submit the order to BC only after the amount and everything is finalized, after the contract is generated. That's where we stop it. So based on the order, everything in the opportunity gets updated by the system.
Beautiful.
So we need to have that check and validation and process in place.
Got it.
Yeah.
While I have you here, because this is brilliant information, yeah, and I'm sorry to take up time. How much of customization can we actually do when it comes to discounting? As an example, in like professional services, I could do rate-based discount. I could do person-month discount in the sense that instead of actually saying, hey, I'll give you a 10% discount of the total amount, I will take that amount and give X number of person months free, right? Can all those kind of things be actually done in CPQ?
To be very frank, I have not explored that, but based on the standard one, I don't think so that's possible. But I give you one thing here. Okay, so let me open an existing order.
Yeah.
Because see, as long as BC and as long as the accounting system is concerned, okay, they are just worried about the discount amount and what they need to tag it, what a figure should going to the discount account, right?
Correct.
That's important. So here, if you see this field here, right? As long as if you have your custom pricing concept of calculating the discount, you can populate this guy here. Okay.
Gotcha.
So see, whatever, as you mentioned, right, whatever number of you gave an example, right? Sorry, I missed out.
No,
so whatever is that, man days, that has to be handled inside CRM, right?
Yeah.
So you can have that extra module and customize it in the CRM level and just populate the amount that needs to be accounted for in the manual discount amount field. Yes.
Got it. Perfect. Yeah, got it.
And one more thing here is we have something called as custom pricing. I don't know whether everyone has checked that or not. So where is it? There's something called as custom pricing. I cannot see. It's there in the system settings, I believe. So what you can do is you can actually customize this pricing concept here. So so suppose you have a special logic. Okay, suppose you tell that it takes from this price list, okay, but there has to be some other logic based on whatever the price has to be updated or discount needs to be updated. So we need to extend our standard pricing to custom pricing.
Exactly. So long as I have the CDS entities, I can actually build that out in Power Plat. Yeah, there's no issue with that.
Correct.
Great. Yeah. Got it. Thank you very much. Brilliant session.
Thanks, Sanjeev. So. Okay, I think so. That was all the question. Oh yeah, Geeta has a question. Is there a custom entity in the flow where we can cover the? Is there? Sorry, if there is a custom entity, there's a we can do that. So what we can do is, as I mentioned, right, inside CRM, you just need to create that entity. Okay, but the overall development needs to be done in PC. Okay, to extend that. Okay, so what you need to do is maybe. After you have created that thing inside, after you have created the entity inside CRM, what we have to do, we have to write code units to extract the information and synchronize this. Okay, so inside BC, I would have shown you one of that. So what happens is inside this integration, integration table mapping, the custom entity will come. Okay. You can extend this, the extra entity will come. By default, you cannot create anything here. But if you add a code unit from backend and extend that particular table, you can actually have this extra entity here and you can do the mapping accordingly. I hope that answers.
All right. We are right on the time. Ankit, thank you so much. That's a wonderful session. I mean, really, man, it's not easy to configure the whole setup and show end-to-end, demo, and also highlighting the pain points and talking about the recent features that the product has offered. Thank you so much again, Ankit. I know it's such a pleasure to have you today. Thank you everyone for joining us today. So before we wind off, I would like to share my screen again and show the upcoming events that we have at ASEAN, and we have at the other upcoming global events as well. So if you can quickly, I'll just take a minute. So there is an event that's coming in happening in Malaysia tomorrow, and Sri Lanka on September 4th, and Philippines on August 31st. All right. So I already shared the link in the chat, and you can check that, and I will also post it in the my LinkedIn post, all the links for these meetups. And also we have, there are other global community events that are happening, which has its own flavor. They all do different kind of events, once in a month event, once in a month quiz program, and every week specialized events and hackathons, And then there's also a call for speaker open for this 24-hour Power Platform session. So kindly utilize this, and as Sanjeev and I said earlier, this we do have leads who are working behind the screen for every month events across the ASEAN. And it's not just about the leads. Anyone can step up, and if you are willing to present, or if you're willing to take the lead, please feel free to reach out to any of us. We have Sanjeev, we have Mano, Geeta, Asai, Dharani. There are lots of folks behind the screen who is working hard behind this. And again, thank you so much. I'll pass it to Sanjeev to do the closing note.
Thanks very much, Jiva. Great, call out. Really quickly, as we go through the list over here, sincere thanks to Akshay, Srivastava, Alan Tran. We've got Dheeraj, Keshavani, John Tan, Mr. Lester, Laurence. Then we have got Mr. Money, although you're no stranger to us. Vignesh, Sachin Jha, Shyam CRM. I'm not terribly sure who you are, sir, but thank you very much. And finally, we've got two more, Terence and Vinod Selvam. Thank you very much for joining us, folk. I mean, the rest of us, we are part of, the activity here. But family. Thank you. Yeah, well, you're part of family too. The rest of you folk, now you're part of family. Thank you very much for joining us. Kindly spread the word. Please spread the word, because as you saw this session, such good stuff here, which me as an end user, I've struggled. I mean, I can't tell you, sleepless nights, until 4 or 5 o'clock trying to integrate the two of them, and as an end user and making sense of it. So what Ankit showed is phenomenal, at least for someone like me, who suffered through, right? And then what Chris showed in terms of CDS and the other components, yes, but what he talked about CDS was absolutely brilliant. And when you go through it yourself, get your hands dirty, and when you go through it, you realize how fantastic these tools are that Microsoft has done. And unfortunately, outside of mainly the CRM community, like Jiva and Geeta and things, mainly in that CRM community, nobody outside knows. No one knows. That's the amazing thing. People may have heard of SQL. People may have actually heard of Azure data warehouse or something, but nobody knows about CDS, when CDS is man's or women's best friend, right? So that's why it is important for us to come together as both individual communities within each country. As an example, tonight is Singapore, as well as the ASEAN level, because at the ASEAN level, like Chris, we could get 6-7 people from, directly from engineering in Redmond. We happen to know a number of people there. We could get them directly to, tell us what they're thinking about, and we can express our thoughts to them. They love hearing issues from us. So it's very important, folk, to spread the message. And given the number of young people here in ASEAN, it behooves us to grow this community to at least about 2,500 people, which is a drop in the bucket compared to the 2.5 million people. So kindly join us, spread the word with your friends, and then thank you very much, folk. And with that, back to you, Jiva, and then back to you.
Thank you, Sanjeev. And there's one more thing I left out, guys. Sorry. So there is also a Women in Tech initiative that is done at ASEAN level, and we have our Women in Tech leads, Manu and Geeta, today, and we have this event running every month as well. So that the Women in Tech is an inclusive event, but it's for everyone. There's no limitation that is whether only the women should join, something like that. But there will be lots of women speakers coming up across from the globally, and within the ASEAN as well, and presenting great scenarios. So so we will be updating everything in the links that I shared earlier. Kindly follow that, and that's all from my side. Thanks for the day, guys. Thank you again, and we'll see you in the next event. Cheers. Take care.
Cheers, guys. Thank you. Good night. Wow.